I am tired. If there's anyone out there who is trying to balance a full-time job while trying to be consistent with their content, whether it be YouTube, TikTok, or whatever, and all the other things of life, I could feel that you might be in the trenches because I know I am. I have not been super consistent with my YouTube channel up until recently, and even recently it's been very minimal. Like, I'm really hanging on by a thread. But I am still working a full-time job and being a mom and a spouse and all of these things, and I am just so exhausted. Like, I don't understand how all of these YouTube girlies are doing it. Granted, some people aren't working, or maybe they don't work as much or whatever, but obviously, like, not all small creators are just creating all day. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of them have jobs, but I'm like, when do you have time to do that? Go to work, possibly work out, take care of your kids, cook, clean, be a present partner, and everything else that life comes with, because life be lifing. Anyway, I say all that to say, if you are a small creator or a new creator, it is not easy, but it is still possible to do all of the regular things you're doing and be consistent with your content. So let's talk about it. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Samantha and I make videos on whatever I want. But today I wanted to talk about how to balance a 9-to-5 and being a YouTube content creator, or any content creator, but specifically YouTube, because YouTube, I think, is probably the most time-consuming platform to create content for. So I've done some research, I've listened to all the YouTube content creator gurus, and I think there are a few main things that seem like they're tried and true and will be the best way to balance having a busy life and being a content creator. So for time management, I would say batch content creation is the way to go. So there's a day or a block of time throughout your week that you feel like you can probably pump out some videos, like film them, do that. Because I feel like getting ready and doing my makeup and doing my hair is a big part of the process of filming, because I do all of that first. I think a big chunk of time is spent on getting ready to create your content or film your content, because a lot of it is obviously the ideation, planning what your video is gonna be about, what you're gonna say, what research you need to do. And then the second part of it is actually getting ready to film. So for me personally, like, I like to at least have my makeup done, my hair, it'll be whatever, but at least presentable. And I think that takes a good amount of time leading up to it. So it's like, if I can do those things once and then film everything I need to film once, then I'm good, because I think it makes things a lot easier, because I'm only getting ready one time, because I'm probably only gonna be doing like planning and ideation of what I'm gonna say or whatever for multiple videos. I'm gonna do that all at once. I'm gonna have a different day where I do all of that, and then I'm gonna get ready once. I'm gonna get ready once, do my makeup once, and then have one sit down session where I film 2 or 3 videos back to back, just to get it out the way. And then on a totally separate day, which is probably gonna be the most time consuming part of content creation, is editing. I feel like I have a love-hate relationship with editing, because it's so time consuming, especially as a new creator. You don't know all the tips and tricks, or you're just not as quick as you'd like to be, and you're learning a lot. So it's like there's different things that you want to do when you're editing, or different, effects or whatever. And all of that takes time. So it's like, if you can do one big session for editing or multiple sessions for editing, that would be great. But at least you're not editing, filming, editing, filming, editing, and filming multiple times throughout the week, because then you're gonna be really exhausted. I'd say it's also really good to have a content calendar. So like I mentioned, a big part of the process in the beginning is just ideation, planning out what you're gonna say, kind of having like a loose outline or script. But if you have a content calendar in place, you already know what you're gonna talk about. So whenever you do have free time, you can just, do a little research, or do, work on that a little bit. And it's not necessarily you rushing to come up with something last minute. And then it's kind of a bit easier to know what you're going to be posting in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Personally, I use Asana as my preferred platform to build out a content calendar. I personally have been using it for years with my 9-to-5 job, so I'm pretty comfortable with it. But I think it's really easy for anyone to use, any kind of beginner who's new to this. And there is a free version, which is really nice. You don't need all the extra bells and whistles of the paid ones. I think the free one does what you need it to do, especially as a beginner or a small creator. And this isn't my personal content calendar that you're seeing on this screenshot, but it's just to give you an idea of what it could look like if you were to have like a monthly calendar planned out for your content. I do definitely recommend color coding things, whether it's by type of content or type of platform, just so you can keep things organized. But I just overall recommend having a content calendar, period. I don't care what it is, but it makes your life so much easier when you have a full view of what you want to post and when. I think it's also really important to be realistic about how many videos you can put out. I feel like in an ideal world, I would put out 2 videos per week, on the best days to possibly post, and be super consistent and post at the same time on the same day every single week. And it's just not realistic for me, so I don't do that. But I do know I can do at least 1 video per week. It may not be on the same day at the same time, but it'll be during the week, usually on the later end of the week. So I've gotten pretty comfortable with the cadence I'm on right now with 1 video per week. And over time, if I can, or if I can increase how much I can edit or how much time I'm spending on planning, then yeah, maybe I'll do 2 videos per week. But for right now, realistically, 1 video is good enough for me. It's also really important to repurpose wherever you can. So I was starting to do some content on TikTok, which I think I'm gonna go back and repurpose a lot of that and post it on YouTube Shorts. I'm currently taking a break off TikTok right now because YouTube is really like taking me out right now. But whenever I get a handle on my content and editing for YouTube, I'm gonna try to figure out my schedule so I could focus on TikTok as well. But if you're a short form content creator in particular, if you can post something on TikTok, 9 out of 10 times it's perfect to post on Instagram or YouTube Shorts as well. So, and it doesn't hurt to post unless you have your own strategy, I don't know. But from what I'm seeing, it doesn't hurt to repurpose a lot of those videos on different platforms if you can, instead of creating different types of content through different types of platforms or for different types of platforms. Work-life balance is so important. It's already hard enough to have work-life balance with your regular 9-to-5, let alone adding on a whole new job, because content creation is a job in itself, even though I'm kind of treating it like a hobby, but the amount of work it takes is pretty much a job. A side job, but a job nonetheless. So it's really important to set boundaries, make sure you're getting your sleep. If you're not able to get something done by a certain time, then you're not able to get it done by a certain time. Don't sacrifice your quality of work at your 9-to-5 for content creation, especially if you're not ready to go full force into content creation. But really just find what works for you so you can still be consistent, but find balance. You shouldn't be coming home from work after working 8-9 hours and then spending another 8-9 hours making content. That doesn't make any sense. So figure out what to do when you're off from work, figure out what to do, during breaks or something, but it's really not healthy and it doesn't serve you to burn yourself out to that extent, because once you burn yourself out, that's when your consistency is really at risk, because if you're feeling tired and burnt out, you're not gonna feel as motivated, and motivation is not the key. Consistency is the key. So if you're not burnt out, you're more likely to be consistent. And just make sure you're having fun with it. Tying back to when I said that this is kind of a hobby for me right now, or I'm trying to treat it as a hobby. I think if you find joy in the content you're creating and you're interested in it and you want to make it, you want to bring it to life, then you'll enjoy doing it, so it won't feel as much of a burden to create content. Because I'll say when I was creating more like motherhood type content, it was cool and all, but my heart wasn't really into it. I think it was just what was resonating with me most at that time, like being a new mom, having a baby and all this stuff. But realistically, like it wasn't what I truly want to make content on. Like I've been saying in the beginning of my videos, I make content on whatever I want. Like I'm not a big believer in niching down. But honestly, I'm still trying to figure out my own balance with all of this. So take what I say with a grain of salt. I'll probably make another video on this once I feel a little bit more into my groove. But yeah, this is hard. This is really hard. I don't know how people really do it. I'm doing it, so I guess I do know how people do it, but it is not easy. Like, you really have to believe in yourself and believe in the potential of what you're doing to keep going, because sometimes it's like, is it even worth it? But it's like, if you stop, you'll never know. But drop a comment down below if you too are a new and small creator trying to balance a 9 to 5 in content creation. How are you handling it? Do you have any tips for me? Because I'm still trying to learn. And we could be in the trenches together. But on that note, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.